This is United Network News with Sunny Galt, Calen, Kimberly Gogan, and our field messengers from around the world. Here's today's real news. It's Friday, September 12th, 2025, and here are today's stories. Dubai dazzles with its towering skyline, but behind the luxury, many migrant workers face harsh living conditions. At-home health kits are booming, offering quick answers on everything from fertility to vitamin levels, and the industry could now be worth billions. But how reliable are these tests, really? One of our field messengers shows us how to make natural, safe cosmetics at home, proving wellness can start right in your own kitchen. Sea salt is often hailed as a healthy choice, but what about bittern, its salty byproduct? We'll uncover the hidden risks in this overlooked ingredient. Surplus pumpkins that would normally be discarded are now being turned into soup, feeding communities and cutting food waste. And in Japan, a surprising service lets you rent people to pose as partners, friends, or even family. A curious way to add connection or a little drama to everyday life. Dubai, a city in the United Arab Emirates, famous for its towering skyscrapers and luxury lifestyle, has been built largely on the efforts of migrant workers. But while the city dazzles with wealth, many of these workers face tough living conditions. Authorities have been cracking down on overcrowded and illegal housing, but it raises an important question. Where are workers who can't afford proper accommodation supposed to go? It's not an easy problem to solve. Dubai's population is growing fast, thanks to a constant influx of people. Yet, the booming real estate market mostly caters to wealthy professionals, leaving low-wage migrant workers who earn around $300 to $550 a month with very limited options. To make things even tougher, government housing assistance is available only to Emirati nationals, who make up a small percentage of the population. For workers earning under $400 a month, employers are technically required to provide housing, but many migrants work informally and fall outside these restrictions. This leaves them scrambling for alternatives, often turning to the shadow housing market. One common option is partitioned rooms, basically dividing up someone else's space with thin walls or curtains. It's not ideal, but for many, it's the only choice they can afford.
Most migrant workers live in what's commonly known as a bed space or partition. This is a small room subdivided and shared by multiple individuals, often furnished with bunk beds. The pricing varies based on the bed's position. The lower bed is the most expensive at 500 dirham per month. The middle bed costs 400 dirham, and the upper bed, close to the ceiling, goes for 300 dirham. These spaces usually come with shared bathrooms and kitchens. Despite the conditions, it works well out for them, as the rent is comparable to what they would pay back in their home country. This right here is an example of how a bed space looks like. It's shared space. You see there are a couple of beds. This one is suitable for 5 people. It's a small space, but it actually works for low-income earners. If you don't make a lot of money, then you have to live in a shared space with some people. And that's how life is on the other side of Dubai.
Partitioned housing comes with its own set of risks. Without proper approval, these setups can be unsafe, and authorities are cracking down hard on overcrowded units. The safety concerns are real. A blaze in Dubai Marina in June forced more than 3,800 people to evacuate, while a 2023 fire in Deira claimed 16 lives. Inspections are ramping up to tackle illegal partitions and fire risks, leaving some residents scrambling for new housing.
Sudden evictions after partition ban? Here's what's going on. A lot of posts are going around showing tenants packing and leaving after the partition ban in Dubai. In this video, you can see it happening, and even on Reddit, people are sharing their experiences. It's happening across neighborhoods like Al Riga, Union, and Satwa. So why now? Because many of these partitioned units were built without approval, and officials say they block emergency exits and violate safety codes. Remember the recent fire at Tiger Tower in Marina? That's part of the reason this is being taken seriously. These setups were illegal from the start. But here's the big question. Was this crackdown necessary for safety, or is it hitting residents too hard, too fast?
Following the crackdown on illegal room partitioning, landlords are restoring properties to their original layouts to comply with regulations. To avoid similar issues, they are now more cautious, carefully reviewing Emirates ID, job details, and rental history of tenants. Many prefer renting to small families or corporate clients instead of multiple unrelated tenants, ensuring compliance with Dubai municipality rules, which makes it even harder for low-income workers to find housing. This crackdown on illegal housing has sparked an urgent conversation about what can be done to provide safe, affordable options for low-income workers. Some experts suggest building subsidized housing or co-living spaces as a more dignified solution. Others point out better transport options like shuttle services or subsidies could help workers living farther out save money on rent without adding to their daily struggles. From fertility tracking to vitamin deficiency checks, at-home DIY health kits are booming worldwide. Market analysts predict by 2030, the industry could be worth billions globally. And it's easy to see the appeal. Quick answers at home, no waiting rooms, and the sense of being in control of your own health. But should we really be putting so much trust in these tests? On the surface, these kits make health monitoring look simple. A finger prick of blood, a swab, or even a urine sample. Send it off to an accredited lab, and you're promised insights into cholesterol levels, thyroid function, prostate health, or even cancer risk. The convenience is undeniable. Some at-home tests, like pregnancy tests or blood pressure monitors, are well established and backed by decades of evidence. However, 2 recent studies out of the University of Birmingham, published in the British Medical Journal, throw a bucket of cold water on the hype. Of the 30 tests reviewed, covering 19 conditions, 60% were rated high risk due to faulty equipment, poor instructions, and weak or missing accuracy data. Few tests explained who the tests were suitable for, and many advised users to see a general practitioner regardless of the result, prompting researchers to ask, what's the point of doing the test in the first place? Experts warn these kits risk false results, unnecessary stress, and extra pressure on already stretched doctors.
COVID-19, STDs, food sensitivities, you name it, there's probably a test in a box that you can take at home.
Many of these tests are pretty straightforward, like the COVID-19 test. The problem we're seeing is that there are others with questionable quality, and these could leave you with confusing results, which could lead to unnecessary follow-up testing and treatments, or delay needed care.
Consumer Reports found some of the more useful at-home tests are those for chronic conditions like diabetes, congestive heart failure, and high blood pressure.
These tests can help people manage these chronic conditions at home, which can save them trips to the doctor.
Also useful, the FDA-approved home test for HIV, helpful for people without healthcare providers or who have privacy concerns. The at-home tests you should be wary of, CR says, are tests that focus more on your wellness, such as tests that measure hormone levels, food sensitivities, and stress.
The FDA generally doesn't review what it considers wellness tests, which tend not to diagnose a specific condition, and some might also give unreliable results.
Look for home tests authorized by the Food and Drug Administration.
If you're outside the U.S., look for certification marks such as CE or UKCA in the UK. Anything without these should raise a red flag. Beyond certification, it's important to read the fine print to see if the test explains its limitations and provides reliable accuracy data. Even when results look clear, it is a good idea to consult with a healthcare professional you trust. And finally, keep in mind the emotional impact. If a test leaves you feeling more stressed or uncertain than reassured, it may not be helping your health at all. The explosion of DIY health kits didn't happen by accident. They fit neatly into today's consumer habits. We live in an on-demand culture where instant answers are expected. So it's no surprise people want the same convenience when it comes to health. The pandemic also played a role, normalizing self-testing and making home diagnostics feel more routine. And of course, there's the business side. With huge profit margins and a market projected to soar, companies are rushing to put more kits on shelves, even when the science isn't always solid. This raises an uncomfortable question. Are these kits truly about empowering people to take charge of their health, or are they more about cashing in on consumer anxiety?
At-home testing is bigger than just COVID tests and bigger than over-the-counter pregnancy tests. In fact, it's an emerging marketplace, potentially worth over $2 billion by 2025.
Everlywell is in the #1 leadership position for consumer-enabled testing. We have experienced over 100% growth in 2021 over 2020.
Everlywell sells more than 30 tests for a range of conditions, among them tests for Lyme disease, food sensitivity, thyroid function, HIV, and cholesterol, and prices range from $49 to $259.
We believe in empowering consumers to access healthcare, and we thought this was a fantastic opportunity. Quest Direct, we're offering the same tests that we offer to doctors and hospitals. So we launched it in 2018. So if we think about 2020, we doubled our revenue versus 2019. And if you were to include COVID, our revenue increased 8 times versus 2019.
When we were in early quarantine in 2020, we actually saw a rapid escalation of sales of our STI tests. And that has continued. I mean, in the 200 to 300% continuous year-over-year growth. And then women's health grew 400%.
Such startups are reaching big valuations, like unicorn level, before hitting the public market. Like Everlywell, it may be valued at $2.9 billion. Another is Ro. Ro was valued at $5 billion in March 2021, and it's made some big acquisitions like Modern Fertility and Kit.
DIY health kits aren't going anywhere. And to be fair, some of them can be genuinely useful. But the recent UK studies highlights a big gap between what these kits promise and what they actually deliver. And with so much money flooding into the industry, it's important to approach these kits with caution. Use the results as a starting point rather than a final answer. And always double check with a trusted healthcare professional before making any big decisions.
Embracing health and wellness starts with making mindful choices, especially in the products we use. UNN Field Messenger Dorothy shares how she creates her own natural cosmetics.
This is Field Messenger Dorothy reporting from the mountains of Montana. I want to share with you how I changed my life with natural cosmetics. After having survived a nasty cold and flu season, I developed a sensitivity to artificial fragrances. And when I started to become aware of everything that contains synthetic scents, I was really overwhelmed. So I began the journey to making my home a more holistic environment. Little by little, I have been replacing household cleaners, laundry detergents, toothpaste, and more with organically, minimally processed products where I can breathe easier and not have to worry about the after effects of chemical reactions in my body. But living in the mountains where weather can be harsh and the humidity can be downright crunchy, I decided to look into making my own cosmetics. What I found is that everything I was putting on my skin was drenched in a long list of chemical crap that could cause a lot of ailments, including cancer. So I began to experiment. First, I researched what my skin needed to be vibrant and healthy, and then began to assemble the ingredients. I chose organic shea butter, organic jojoba oil, organic vitamin E, some organic castor oil, and a couple of essential oils. I softened 2.2 ounces of shea butter and placed it in a glass bowl. Next, I used an electric mixer to make it pliable, then added 2.2 ounces of the jojoba oil, 2 teaspoons of vitamin E, and 2 tablespoons of castor oil. Next, I added some of my favorite essential oil blends and whipped everything together for about 15 minutes. And this is the face and body butter I came up with. It's super concentrated and rehydrating, and my face and body feel soft and protected all day long. Just remember that with this moisturizer, a little goes a long way. Here's the recipe so you can make yours too. I'm Field Messenger Dorothy, reporting for United Network News.
Tired before the day begins? NAD Plus levels drop 50% after 40. NAD Plus helps your cells bounce back fast. Most supplements give precursors. NAD Plus skips the breakdown, delivering direct, bioavailable power. Support your energy, metabolism, sleep, and stress levels at the cellular level. Join the NAD Plus revolution. Start your journey to a healthier you. Subscribe today.
Hi everyone, this is Leanne.
And I'm Jerry.
Coming to you from Tamworth, New South Wales.
Hi there, this is Rick from Arizona.
My name is Uchechukwu Owenebam from Igbo tribe, Nigeria.
Hi, this is Scott from Utah.
I'm Annette from Agassiz, British Columbia.
Hi, I'm Marcus Surzet from Manipur State, India.
Real people reporting real stories from all around the world. That's what United Network News is all about.
Can you clap?
We had a huge flood, which some call the flood of the century.
No fake news here. Our field messengers share personal experiences of what's really happening in their community.
We got some nice fish right here.
At UNN, you are the news.
My family and I had a very good time.
Take the next step. Become a UNN field messenger and share the real news with the world.
In the northwest province of South Africa, I am United Network News.
I am United Network News.
I am United Network News.
I am United Network News, and if it's going to be, it's up to me.
It's going to be, it's up to me. If it is going to be, it's up to me.
If it's going to be, it's up to me.
If it's going to be, it's up to us. Field Messages, United Network News. See you next time.
Sea salt is often seen as a healthy choice, but what about bittern? It's a byproduct. UNN Field Messenger Akira delves into the potential concern surrounding this overlooked ingredient.
Hello, this is Field Messenger Akira reporting for United Network News from Tokyo, Japan. This is another piece of information and opinion about sea salt. Recently, in Japan, when you go to the supermarket, you will see rows of salt labeled natural salt or seawater salt. Many people believe that sea salt is good for the body because it contains a lot of minerals. However, my impression is that as the natural salt boom spread in Japan, the number of dialysis patients also seems to have increased. When producing sea salt from seawater, sodium chloride crystallizes first, and the liquid that remains after physically removing it by scraping it up is called nigari in Japanese, and in English it is called bittern. The main components of bittern are magnesium chloride, potassium chloride, and calcium chloride. It is well known in Japan that bittern is used as a catalyst to solidify tofu, Japanese traditional food. In other words, it has the effect of coagulating the proteins in soy milk. And on the other hand, rock salt contains almost no bittern, so it cannot be used for making tofu. And although it is not widely known, some hard whetstone used for sharpening knives are hardened with bittern. Based on these facts, Is it unfounded to infer that bittern has the effect of hardening the body's cells, muscles, and organs, which are made of protein? Some experiments have confirmed that bittern hardens not only plant proteins but also animal proteins, even at room temperature. One fact is that the number of dialysis patients in modern Japan is rapidly increasing. Few doctors believe that this is due to bittern hardening the kidneys, which filter large amounts of blood every day. However, no other clear causes have been identified. On the other hand, if bittern hardens not only the kidneys but also other protein-based organs such as liver, heart, and pancreas, it could explain the current high incidence of diabetes, heart disease, and high blood pressure in Japan. To date, there have been no experimental or investigative studies into the harmful effects of bittern. But I want you to think about it calmly. If natural sea salt was good for you, why didn't our ancestors cook with seawater? From here on, it's up to you to make your own judgment. Personally, I try to minimize the intake of raw salt containing a lot of bittern and instead use highly refined salt or seasonings made with it whenever possible. This is also because the minerals necessary for the body can be absorbed from other foods and supplements. If you experience any physical discomfort while using natural sea salt, I recommend immediately discontinuing its use. This is Field Messenger Akira reporting for United Network News from Tokyo, Japan. Thank you for watching.
UNN Field Messengers Paul and Irene share an inspiring initiative where surplus pumpkins, usually discarded after seed harvesting, are turned into soup for those in need. This effort supports communities while reducing food waste.
Irene and Paul, Field Messengers for United Network News. Here at the Organic Farm in Calen, we'll invite you to join us in Project Pumpalicious.
Here we are with part of the harvest of pumpkins here in the polder, Noordoostpolder in Holland. And now we're proud to have saved this harvest this year, because other years all this harvest was being destructed. And that is because they only function as a way to get the new seeds for reproducing pumpkins again year after year. So these are the male pumpkins. And in this situation, and that's every year, they're just material that's not used. And now this year, for the first time, we're proud to say that these pumpkins are being used to make soup for people who don't have enough to eat, and so they can have it. And we don't need to sell it, but we need to use it. That's why we do this.
When it comes to renting, most of us probably think about grabbing a car for a road trip or booking a cozy vacation rental. But what if you could rent people? Sounds wild, right? Well, in Japan, this is actually a real thing. You can hire someone to pose as a family member, partner, or even a friend. It's an unexpected twist that can add a little joy and probably even some drama to life's big or small moments. Hiring family members might sound unusual, but it's not a new concept in Japan. These services allow clients to hire actors to play roles like a sibling, spouse, or even a parent for all kinds of reasons. You might assume only lonely or isolated people would use these services, but that's not necessarily the case. Clients come from all walks of life. Some hire stand-ins for events or holidays, while others use the service to simply experience what it's like to have a family or partner. Single people might rent a pretend spouse, while married folks sometimes rent a friend or sibling for companionship. There's even a niche service where you can hire a grandmother to experience the comfort and care of a maternal figure. And it's a win-win, offering older women meaningful work.
In 2012, Todd Pliss walked into Shark Tank with cookies, wisdom, and a bold idea: rent a grandma. With the whole premise of why hire a distracted teen babysitter when you could get a cookie-baking, phone-free, life-experienced grandma. Now, of course, the idea was denied, but flash forward a decade to Japan, where the idea is thriving. Introducing OK Grandma, a service where you can rent a grandma for cleaning, babysitting, cooking, or just good company, and this is starting to sound really familiar. Over 100 women aged 60 to 94 signed up. You can even book one to sit in on a family gathering or just walk you through a tough chat. But why does this idea work so well in Japan? An aging population and the cultural value of trying to find purpose in life. These grandmas aren't just working for income, they're working for meaning. So did Shark Tank miss out? Maybe. But Rent a Grandma found its groove elsewhere, proving that maybe those big ideas just need a different audience.
In Japan, a lot of it comes down to cultural values. In a society that places high importance on social obligation and conformity, there's often immense pressure to meet expectations, like being married by a certain age or showing a picture-perfect family. Combine that with increasing loneliness, and it's no surprise these rent-a-family services are becoming more popular. But it's not just about fulfilling social norms. Some services take it a step further by addressing deeper issues. New Start, a nonprofit, helps people dealing with extreme social withdrawal by offering rental sisters who provide gentle weekly visits and encouragement. They even run a dorm where clients can slowly reintegrate into society with an impressive success rate.
This is Japan, and unfortunately, a lot of young people here are feeling lonely. Like everywhere in the world, they feel they need to do perfect in school, to make a lot of money, to have a big family. They feel that the world will only accept them if they're perfect at everything. A lot of young folks don't want to deal with all that pressure, so they stay home day and night and give up on having a social life. They are called ikikomori, and that's where this guy comes in.
私の名前は石井雄一と言います。
Yuichi provides sisters and family members who can talk to the ikikomori and slowly convince them that the world outside is not their enemy, that friends and nature are some of the things that make life worth living. Thanks to his work, more and more young people are feeling confident to get back out there, into the world. So if you know someone who's not feeling well, give them a call. Because we can all get lonely sometimes. And in those times we can all use a sister, a brother, or even just a friend.
Of course, as unique and customizable as the rent-a-family or friend services are, they're not without challenges. The actors play their roles well, but clients may wrestle with the weight of the deception, especially when questions start coming from real family or friends. Then there's the long-term question. What happens next? Will the same actor be available for future events, or will the facade fall apart? At the end of the day, renting people might seem unconventional, but it's a fascinating glimpse into how human connection can take all kinds of forms, even in the most unexpected ways. UNN is changing the face of news. Join us for our weekly Field Messenger meetings and learn how you can make a difference. Visit unitednetwork.earth for more information. Thanks for watching.